Alright everyone, welcome back to another Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes video with Fat Phil, and today we're going to be talking about the 5 mistakes you need to avoid in 2024 to have as much free-to-play success as you can. These are going to sound like things that I just may be beating a dead horse. You're like, Phil, I know that, but these key mistakes are things that I see players make all the time, and then it costs them down the road. A lot of times, what players will do is they'll do something in the moment and they think it's really cool, and then down the line, they can't do stuff. So again, I'm going to share this with you guys. Make sure you like and subscribe, comment down below, let me know your thoughts, and let's give a huge shout out to our channel members so much for continuing to put their faith in me to give them good quality content. Again, if you're ever interested in that, that link is down below along with the Discord there as well. So again, guys, thank you so much for continuing to, support this channel. It is so appreciated. Let's get into the video and let's, oops, covered up my face with that. Come on now, go down here. There we go. That's better. All right, let's get in and let's talk about these mistakes, just like I was making with my Streamlabs. So the first one is over-investing in the raid. You can't afford to over-invest in this raid because it's going to rotate, right? It's going to rotate out. So, and the other reason you don't want to over-invest is because the rewards really kind of taper off. Let me show you guys my current, my guild situation right now. So we're at 477 million. We should be closer to 500. But even still, even if we get to 500, we'd be 165 million galactic power away from the next reward crate, which is over 3 million points per player. So every single player has to score 3 million more points. Now, if you don't have Leia and now you get Leia and you solo her, there's 2.7. But for all the players who already have Leia, we need to come up with another 3 million points, which means relicking, higher relic levels on every single team, and that's not really worth it, particularly as a free-to-play, because you can't afford to use those resources for something that in, say, 6 months changes. So instead, what you're going to want to do is focus your resources on characters that actually help you. So notice, like, I had Leia there. A Relic 8 on Leia can really improve your score, and it's a solid investment down the road. And if I'm saying it's a solid investment, it is, because I don't use Relic 8s on my characters really ever. I'm just starting to do that now. Someone like Iden Versio, taking her to Relic 7 could be really worth your time because she's a solid pilot, she's solid in her team, a really, really good character that investing extra Relic levels in only helps other aspects of this game. Similarly, where is he at? Chewbacca there. Another really good example here where I would be investing, maybe getting him to, say, Relic 7. Again, ups the tier that you can do, but also makes the Millennium Falcon better, makes your Commander Luke Skywalker team better. So, investing in those characters that outside of this raid have a lot more value to you. When you look at your Imperial Troopers here, you're like, oh, Phil, why don't you get them all up to Relic 5? Well, one, my resources would be better spent trying to get Dark Trooper up to, say, Relic 7 first, and then worrying about these guys. But also, right now at Relic 3, they're still performing their role. I might think about Gideon maybe in that new Imperial Remnant team, but I'm not ready to make that commitment yet. So all of that said, guys, don't overinvest in this raid because your rewards, it's just so much. Look at this, just to get here or getting here, it doesn't make a lot of sense. And then for the personal rewards, I'm scoring almost 11 million points. For me to even get 100 more currency, I need to score over 2.5 million more points than I currently am. It's not feasible for me right now. And again, I'm okay with that. That's the decisions that I've made, but it's just for 100 extra currency, 2.5 million points. I really think Capital Games they need to think of a better way to do things than just dispersing them like this. It's the same thing in Conquest where the gap between some of these is so large or so pronounced that it discourages players from doing more than, what they could feasibly do, if you get what I mean. Me getting here, pushing to 11.5 doesn't even help my guild because we're still millions and millions and millions and millions away, millions and millions and millions and millions away from that next reward crate. So don't overinvest in this raid. It's not worth it. It's better to start saving those things, getting other Galactic Legends, or even potentially thinking of what the next raid could be. I know it sounds like a long way away, but it's going to creep up on you, and you're going to be like, holy crap, what do I do now? So that's number one. Number two is don't ignore Conquest. I don't care if you can't do hard mode. I don't care if you're barely getting the first crate. You can't ignore Conquest. The rewards in Conquest are so incredibly important to your growth in this game. if you're below 4 million galactic power and you're like, I can't do hard mode, so there's no point to Conquest, let me just make something very clear. Every player who is doing hard mode Conquest, that, like, for example, myself, I've always been doing hard mode. I've always been above 4 million galactic power. The only time I didn't do a hard mode Conquest was the first time they released it, when you had to do normal mode first. So, all of that said, I didn't get those rewards when I was 1 million, 2 million, 3 million galactic power. Like, it took me for however long they released Conquest, that was the GP. So all those rewards are going to add up and allow you to progress to 4 million galactic power faster. You cannot afford to ignore this stuff. Just think of it like this. The first crate in, say, hard mode nets you 25 Bane shards and 15 Gideon shards. The next crate nets you 15 Gideon shards, so no change there, but 5 more Bane shards. And then let's get up to the third crate here. You're at an extra 5 Gideon shards and, 10 more Bane shards than this initial one. If you can get here, you get 10 extra Bane shards every single Conquest, so that's multiplied by 3, and then you're going to get an extra 5 shards over 3 times when he's the secondary reward. So that's 45 extra shards. That saves you 2 months of Proving Grounds. And I know you're going to be like, oh, it's still going to take me forever, like 2 months of Proving Grounds, big deal. Well, think about at that time, maybe you have Sith Eternal by then. And you're like, crap, now I need to refresh Proving Grounds to get Darth Bane. This could save you from that, or allows you to get him even faster. So this stuff does add up over time. Like, it is important to try and push as hard as you can in Conquest to get better and better rewards. And then on top of that, think of all the currency you get here that you're able to spend on other things outside of that, right? Think about being able to use this stuff for, I'm just looking in here, I guess Sector 5 is a bad example. Maybe we go to Sector 4 here. And I've still got, my 700 currency here. I could maybe buy some, relic materials here, or there's signal data. There's all sorts of stuff that you could purchase. So outside of even the shards, the rewards themselves can help progress your account along. So again, guys, just ignore Conquest at your own peril. As a free-to-play, you can't pass up on those free rewards. It's huge. Next is, don't be afraid. Don't shy away from farming these single drop hard nodes. I get these characters aren't accelerated and that it's going to take them longer. Now, I know Keller and Beck isn't on a node yet, but I at least want to mention him because a lot of us are going to have that Qui-Gon Jinn team, and Keller and Beck is going to play a big role in that team because Arnold showed how good he is in Territory Wars, but what if you can use this guy in Conquest? One single character now opens up a full another Jedi team that you haven't been able to use before. That's invaluable, particularly, again, from that free-to-play perspective. Think about what Captain Rex does for the Phoenix team. Goes from just a meh faction to lifting them to crazy heights. So characters like this are increasingly important to the game of kind of slotting them into those existing teams you have already and boosting their overall viability. Seer is a great example where I think a lot of players went and farmed Baby Cal just because it was easy and it looked cool. But getting Seer as well, just throw these characters on your side farms. You don't need to do all of them all at once, right? Just pick the one that's going to benefit you the most. For most of you, probably Captain Rex, but you could also say Keller and Beck if you got that Qui-Gon team. I think adding characters like this really can boost your overall roster. What's the best way to say this? Like the depth and width of your roster can increase a lot by adding just a single character like this. As a free-to-play, you've got to look for those opportunities where you have an existing team and one character takes it to a completely different level. It's worth investing in. And Keller and Beck and Captain Rex, huge examples of that. Obviously, Seer and Scout Trooper, both very good characters. Scout Trooper, the reason I'm putting him here is a lot of you have Iden. Being able to throw Scout Trooper in there and potentially stop Wampa is huge, right? That's a big, big thing. So again, don't be afraid to farm these single drop nodes. I think a lot of players will shy away from them because they look at it as, oh, it's going to take me so much longer, not recognizing the value they bring to your account. This is a big thing. It took me a little bit to start doing stuff like this, but I can tell you it's paid off immensely over time in my ability to be able to complete certain things, because you know that Keller and Beck is going to start being one of those characters you need in Conquest. So getting a head start on him, going to help you. Next, don't rush assault battles. So many players always say, oh, I'm going to rush assault battles because you get great rewards. It takes so much time to get through those challenge tiers, right? It takes a lot of resources to get to those point of challenge tiers. Like this only gets me challenge tier 1 in the Night Sister raid. which is brutal, right? It definitely sucked that it was, this is challenge tier 1. I need more gear to get to challenge tiers 2 and 3. But even still, I've invested 300 Kyrotech in Marin, 100 in Daka, and 100 in Asajj. So 500 total Kyrotech for this team. For me to make back those Kyrotechs from the challenge tier, I need to play it, call it 25 times. So that's arguably like 2 years worth of challenges. That's a long time before you even make back the Kyrotechs that I spent here. That's not including the another 300 I would spend to get the rest of the characters to relic levels. So as you see, it just takes a significant amount of time to make back all those Kyrotechs you invest in. That it's not smart to necessarily rush this thing because of the time it's going to take you to make it back. You kind of let these come naturally to you. Like, try and do them with lower gear. Try and see if you can get to challenge tier 1 with lower gear characters. And if you can do that, you can kind of keep working along. But I don't like when players say rushing assault battles is a good idea, because while it's good rewards, they're bonus rewards. They're not things you rely on. It takes way too long, right? Way too long to get your investment back on them. Because it sounds like a great idea until you think you spent, 800 Kyrotechs to get 20 every single month. Like, that's a lot of work, guys. So again, just slow it down on the assault battles. Let them naturally come to you. Look for those teams like the Phoenix and Imperial Troopers that investing in one of them gets you 2 assault battles open. If you can do stuff like that, it opens up doors for you, and it's amazing, right? So look for those situations. Finally, I know all of you hate when I say this, but save your Relic 8 mats. A lot of you are going to be getting Kylo and, Rey, or, if you bought Lightspeed bundles, and again, I know this is like free to play, but everybody considers it free to play if they bought the Lightspeed bundles because reasons. But save your Relic 8 mats. Don't just be throwing them on your first Galactic Legends. Think about the characters you still need to farm. Think about all the requirements you need to do. The big thing you have to think about as well is, I'm a million miles from, Leviathan or something. What happens if they release a Galactic Legend like Thrawn, and you're a couple characters away, but one of them's a Relic 8? And you have no Relic 8 materials because you spent them all on Rey, Kylo, or Drogon, or Starkiller. Or, you spent them on something that isn't a requirement for another farm. You now have nothing, right? You have nothing to show. Like, you can't take it off. You can always put those mats on. You cannot take them off. And I think so often free-to-plays make this mistake. They go and they relicate their first Galactic Legend, and then they try to go farm the next one that requires relicates, and they're like, oh my gosh, like, this is taking me forever. Like, I have no idea how people do this. And it's like, well, you had the mats waiting there. You just put them on something that didn't really benefit you. So take it from somebody who only recently got Relic 8s on their Galactic Legends. You can get away without having Relic 8s on your Galactic Legends for a long time, as long as you're modding properly and you're using the right strategies. It's far better to use those to accumulate the different requirements that you need at those levels. Because you think like a Relic 9, that's 2 Relic 8s. You need to do the Relic 8 to go from 7 to 8, and then you need those resources again to go from Relic 8 to Relic 9. So it's a lot of resources to be spending there, and to put them on something that you don't need right this moment, that can be a problem. So again, I would be saving those mats, see what else is coming to the game, because if another fleet comes in, who knows what the requirements could be. Does that mean Relic 10 comes, 3 Relic 9s? I mean, who knows, guys? The sky is the limit at this point. Capital Games can do whatever they want. So those are the 5 mistakes I would avoid making in 2024. Again, don't put these Relic 8s on these characters just because it looks cool or Arnold has it. Save them for the requirements. You will thank me later. I promise you, you will. That's the end of the video, guys. Let me know your thoughts down below. As always, I want you to hit that subscribe button. Leave your likes. Leave your comments. And if you're still watching right now, you know the drill. Wampa loves soda down in the comments. May the force be with you, and I'll see you in the next one, guys. Cheers.